Does love change you? Let's get into it. I always say that when you find true love, it changes you, for the better, not for the worse, right? It changes you for the better. And, I always, ask people, and I recently asked someone this question, now that you're in love, how do you feel? I mean, how has it changed you, right? And what they said to me is that, you know what? I have more confidence. I know that sounds crazy, but I have more confidence and I feel more fulfilled and I'm happier and I just feel like, my life is better, right? And I feel like I can do more things, I can accomplish more things and probably because I'm happier. And so I always believe and I say real love, not infatuation, not lust, not like honey. Real love changes you and it changes you for the better. So I'm one of those people, let me just tell y'all. I watch a lot of romantic comedies, I'm always rooting for the happy ending. Anyway, and then I also watch shows like Love is Blind and Do I Think Love is Blind? Not really. But I like the concept of the show. I like, because it's kind of how I run my business, is that I want the best possible people on the planet. And what that means is that I'm looking at their internal qualities. I'm not just focusing on how gorgeous they are or how pretty their teeth are or maybe their smile, I don't know. I'm focusing on, are these really good people? Will they make, long-term partners? Will they be able to be in a partnership that's sustainable because of who they are? Are they kind? Are they thoughtful? And I know y'all hear me say this stuff all the time, but it's true. You want someone who's caring and thoughtful and loving and all the things, right? And then I also watch Married at First Sight, which I just finished watching last night. And let me tell y'all, do I think that you can find love at first sight? I really don't know. But what I do know is that you can find lust and you can find, like at first sight, right? And, and that's okay. I mean, there's always a good starting place because I always think that if you're going to be in a relationship with someone long term, you should also like them. They should be your friend, right? They don't have to be your best friend, honey, but they should be your friend. And they should be somebody that you want to hang around with, that you want to do things with. They make you laugh and you make them laugh and you can be silly together and you can be serious and all the things that you need to be for a long-term relationship. The thought of like marrying someone and then like seeing if it works, I'm not sure I'm into that, but I think, what it says is that hopefully these people have thought about the fact that they're looking for a long-term relationship, right? And I know when people come to me a lot of times, that's who and what they're looking for, a long-term person, right? And so, using a matchmaker, most people feel more obligated and serious and committed when they use someone like a matchmaker to find them their person, right? And I like that, even though I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, because y'all know I like to be honest, not everybody's ready. Even when they come to me, they're not always ready. But the good thing about it is that I'm also a coach, right? So that helps a lot, when I'm not sure. Now, let me back up a little bit because, being in the love business, if I believe that someone's truly not ready for their long-term person, I'm not going to find them a long-term person because I think you have to be ready. Your mind has to be right. Your heart has to be right. And y'all know I've talked about this before, like you have to have cleaned up your house, honey, and gotten rid of all the trash and the garbage and all the stuff, right? Because you want to start with a clean slate. You want to start where there's not a lot of issues, there's not a lot of drama, right? So let's get back into love, right? I believe that you should truly, take your time and let love unfold, like you let trust unfold. I don't believe that you should just give everybody your trust, honey, because they don't deserve it. And they really do have to earn it a little bit at a time. And I think love is like that. You should be able to show yourself to people over time. You don't necessarily have to give them these big batches and doses of who you are, but I would say, a little bit at a time, become more vulnerable, become more open, become, more transparent with people, because I don't believe that everybody needs to know everything about you day one or week one. But if you really are trying to build something with someone, if you're trying to have something long term, then you have to be vulnerable. You have to open up. And let me just say this too, because I always tell people this when I'm working with them, is don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. Honey, I mean, I'm like in my 50s. Like, I ain't got a lot of time to be waiting, to find out like whether your favorite color is blue. What I do care is, how do you treat people? Are you the kind of person who is thoughtful and kind and generous and caring? Are you supportive? Because like for me, I need someone in my life who's truly supportive, right? Who's not going to like always be upset with me because I have to work a lot, because y'all know I have to work a lot because that's just how it is. Show your love and be open and okay with like letting someone in a little bit at a time. Now having said that, y'all know how I feel about love bombing. Let it go. Don't even go there. If somebody starts like throwing these darts at you and they're like, I love you, you're so wonderful. Honey, you don't even know me. You just met me 2 weeks ago. And so back to, do I believe that love is blind? And do I believe in love at first sight or marriage at first sight even, right? Not really. But what I do believe is that if you give yourself enough time, right, and you're being realistic, and you give this other person enough time and you're being realistic, and it's okay to go all in, but you have to like go all in a way to where it's not like you're giving everything, and all of you at one time. What you're doing is you're saying, I'm committed. Let's see where this goes, right? I want to be, totally committed to us trying to make this work, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm going to like, open up like the doors and just let all the stuff like, just fly out, and you get to just come on in and do whatever you want to do, honey. It doesn't mean that. It means that I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to give this a chance. I'm going to be committed to this. And hopefully in 30, 40, 50, 60, 90 days, whatever that is, maybe not 2 weeks, that, we've come to a really good place where, yes, we do love each other. And yes, we do care about each other. And let me just say this too, because I don't believe that when you fall in love with someone or when you find yourself in love with someone, that there's a timetable. There's a timeline, honey. There's a time frame. There isn't. The heart wants what the heart wants. And if you lead with your heart when it comes to love, do that, but also be reasonable and use your brain to say, am I moving too fast? Am I seeing the same mutual, commitment and response from the other person, right? Or is this a one-sided relationship? So, as much as we want to lead with our hearts, and I truly believe you have to when you're trying to find love, but you also have to be smart about that as well. So let me go back and recap a little bit. I started with, does love change you? I think love changes you. It makes you happier. It makes you, jollier and more fun. If that's like really a word anymore, but anyway, you know what I mean. Like, like Jolly Ranchers, right? They're still around. So anyway, it makes you just feel better sometimes about, the things you do and who you are and how you like move, on the earth and stuff like that, right? So yes, I believe that love can change you for the better. But let me just say this, that love doesn't complete you, right? A person doesn't complete you. You have to be all of that yourself. But I do think that love changes you for the better. Real love, not lust, not infatuation, not like, honey. And let me just say this too, because I truly believe that you should like the person you're with as much as you love them. There is these days where I tell people in this thing that I believe that in any given day, right, you can love, you can lust, and you can like, and some of that happens all at the same time. Some of that happens, on different days where I may like somebody more than I love them, right? Or I may lust after them because I want to, honey, because that's my business, right? But, just remember that love does change, and this is just my personal opinion, that love does change you for the better, but it's real love, it's true love, it's not unconditional, because I don't believe in unconditional love, because I think love should have conditions, because I'm going to expect you to do some things for you to love me and to be with me. So let me just say that love changes you for the better if you find real and true love with the right person. And don't be afraid to let yourself be vulnerable, let yourself be open, let yourself be transparent, but do it in a smart way by giving it a little bit at a time.